I sure that this thing is going to pull through? And she was like, Madam, Nazo carried it. Not me today. I started to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then that was how I left.
Yeah.
And so now I don't give you the money. You according to you, you've done the payment. The person hasn't received an alert, and you're telling me you've done it. You're going to go to the bank, go ask the person, say why you not receive alert.
Okay,
this one, that
those
one,
kind of flimsy excuses.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that was how I just
abandoned the money.
I just abandoned it.
So how do you possibly think that we can, in a way, mitigate the whole issue of insecurity with agency banking? Because it's now talking about it now. I'm remembering every other scenario that has occurred before this time about people getting robbed, at the point of sale stand, and different scenarios just come into my mind. How can we possibly achieve security, mitigate the issue of insecurity, and then the issue of employment? It's given room for a very considerable amount of people to be employed, gainfully employed. Okay,
yeah.
Some people take it as a private business, and some people take it as something that they employ other people to work for them and stuff like that. So how can we possibly challenge this growing issue of insecurity?
Okay, first of all, I think that POS, instead of using it to withdraw cash, people should rather do retail payments.
Okay.
Yeah, retail payment. Now, like the explanation I just gave, we understand that could actually be an issue in terms of a lot.
Yeah.
But then I think you should not leave until you have confirmed that transaction has pulled through. Retail payments, it will actually help mitigate this issue.
For people who don't understand what retail payments are, can you explain to them?
Okay, basically you don't go and withdraw money. You should just go and just make payments. And if you're actually doing a huge sum, paying a huge sum of amount, I don't think you should go to a POS.
Yeah.
Just go straight to the bank.
Okay.
Yes, because even the POS agents sometimes cannot be trusted. So just little sum of money, perhaps that is very urgent. Yes, if it's not so urgent, there's no need going to the POS.
And now it brings a question to mind. Why are we still in the century? Why? Well, most people aren't inclined with relative technological advancements.
Yeah.
Why can't you just do a transfer with your phone, with your mobile phone?
Exactly.
Banks have given you the opportunity. Banks have given you the privilege to do this. Code generators, you transfer everything you want to do with your phone.
Very simple.
Why do you need physical cash? And they tell you, look, when you enter the taxi, do you want to transfer to the driver? And So if we're going to possibly have a headway to mitigating this issue of insecurity at POS stands.
Yeah.
Possibly, we might just also think of withdrawing little amounts.
Yes.
Little amount. And then transfer is something that everybody can do. I really don't know why we are not.
No, not everybody. Well,
let's hear from you. 0817 0000951 or 0810 951 0951. Or you can send in your text messages or WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962. Seeing the number of gainfully employed people this thing has granted, and juxtaposing it with the insecurity at the time and what it's doing at the time with our society, how can we possibly mitigate the issue of insecurity at point of sales stands? 95.1 FM, good evening. Hello? Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right, I lost the call.
That one.
Hello and welcome. What's your name?
Dave, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Cookie Gum.
Let me greet Gloria. Yes, Dave.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Dave, I want to ask you one question before I make my comment.
All right.
This one you are preparing glory. I don't think they want to leave this program.
No.
I'll come to again.
Yeah,
Mr. Gloria, I have a fan in your studio. It's Bushi Rafwa. I want you to beat us according to this program. I love Bushi. I want to love you as I love Bushi too. Dave, please don't leave this program.
No. We're not going anywhere.
Dave, you see what I did for the past weeks now. I enjoy them day by day. Dave, you know what? We are victims of all this activity for the past 2-3 weeks now. Most of us are victims of all this. You see this POS issue I saying. Dave, a lot of people are crying. What they? You know what people are lost in this POS.
Yes.
Sometimes what they say, we do a transfer. If they say it didn't go,
Yes.
it takes 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
Somebody don't go.
Yes.
I have a sister that have a PS at near Warfare Road. One lady, beautiful lady, came to her. Please, I don't want to go to bank. Give me something thousand naira. I will transfer to you. The woman give us something thousand. They look at the responsible woman.
Yes.
From there, the woman divert. I ran away with that something
Are
thousand
you
naira.
serious?
Wow.
My sister, I think one month in the road here. You see, I want to beg Nigerians to listen to Nigerian 5.1. You are doing this program because what you are doing to us, you are giving us what we save up for tomorrow. Please, don't expose your PIN number to a POS agent or POS cash giver or cash collector. Don't expose it to them because before you know, your number, they will take it and go to your bank. This is a computer age. Who can say they use that and they withdraw all the money? So please, as soon as I listen to us this night, please endeavor to make sure that somebody has worked for years or for months or for weeks now. Somebody just take it in less than 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
How will it be?
Yes.
I work for 30 days. I'm paying a of 20,000. Somebody just take it for one minute. How is it painful like this? So thank you for this program, Dave, and stay with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cookingham. All right, 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name? Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right, I think I'm always losing the lines when the call with the first numbers, but you can get through to me 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510 951, or you can send in text messages or WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 996. So Gloria, we're looking at three things: employment, or it's a constant factor; security, no employment. The other one is the ability for this thing to solve problems immediately, because of, this particular emergency money we definitely need. And then thirdly, we're looking at the insecurity that is happening alongside with this good that we see as technological advancement. Agency banking. What do you think about it? 95.1 FM. Hello and welcome. Good evening.
Yeah, I like the program. Okay?
All right. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Sean.
All right.
Please, what I want to say is that the cost of all these things, because every system in this our country is very bad. Me, I'm afraid of cops, police, but now I'm afraid of bank. Have you gone to bank? The way they treat people, even the receptionist, just to collect your ATM card, you may stay like 1 week if not gotten your ATM card.
Yes.
So people are afraid of.
Hello.
I think we lost that
but
one.
He made a very vital statement before he left. The reception at the banks, the customer care, the service rendered by most banks. Personally, I have issues with them. You go there to withdraw your money and they treat you like
everybody has
they
issues.
treat you like you came there to steal from them.
I'm telling you.
I wonder why. 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I greet your guest in the studio.
All right.
My name is George. George. Calling from Romeo community in Northern class.
All right.
The POS, point of sex, and other things. I think it's a security-wise business. You have to be equipped with security issues. Even in bank, it happens. I know there's one that happened in Delta State. That a pulling van with security. They have to take all the money and other things. Then in the aspect of the business environment, the government should try and create an enabling environment for people to do their businesses.
Okay.
And if the government pays on it, investors like me and other investors will not come and do business
All right.
in Nigeria. People are not secured.
All right.
It's a situation where you create an enabling environment. You see that investors will surely come. And I also advise that, like rural communities,
Yes.
people can go to POS if they have 500 naira, take from 1,000, take from them, instead of you going to the bank.
Mm.
And I see also a charge that the bankers are also taking. Like if I'm backing with FCMB or Access Bank, whatever transaction I'm doing.
I'd prefer you don't mention any brand, okay? You could just mention the bank.
Okay, let me not just mention any of the banks.
Mm.
Don't be dictate. That is why people should be very, very careful that even though I'm doing any transaction, my code is my code.
Okay.
Yes, my password, I lock my phone with password.
All right.
I know how you can penetrate on it.
All right.
But,
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Judge. I would definitely think about what you said. But before that, I would go for the news at 60. And when we get back, you definitely hear from us. Stay tuned.
Today's news in 60. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, has officially presented President Muhammadu Buhari's approved first-ever employee-centric condition of service and scheme of service to the Governing Board of National Information Technology Development Agency and Management. Pantami, while attributing the achievement to the improvement in the gross rate performance of the ICT sector, cited the Bureau of Statistics report on the fourth quarter of 2020 gross domestic product, which showed that the sector's efforts have experienced significant growth. The Blockchain Association of Nigeria, CBAN, has called on the federal government to revisit the ban on cryptocurrency activities in Nigeria. The group said the need to critically look at the decision again becomes imperative, considering that many people feel the decision was more out of fear than a proactive industry regulatory attempt. The association said even among government circles, many people are of the opinion that the most sensible approach to the market is a robust regulation, since it is impossible to enforce a total ban. Today's news in 60.
Okay, all right. All you need to know about this one is that
95.1 FM. Such a unique dial.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Still your premium talk news and sports station right here in the city of Port Harcourt. The program is Opinion Poll, and tonight we are looking critically at the issue of insecurity at the POS standpoint, or the POS point, however you want to call it. Okay, and off air, I and Glory were having this conversation. We talked about the fact that three constant factors are there: employment, that most people are clamoring for in Nigeria. The second is the benefits of what it's doing right now. And then the third one is insecurity, which is the rising challenge. And I'm thinking, I know you're thinking, can we possibly have government regulations and policies that will place stringent rules on people or businessmen or women who might want to indulge themselves into this business or want to venture into this business? I mean, 2-3 shops on the street, each of them having the same bank representing them. Yeah. Each of them given the same what they call it, service. Okay. And given the impression that there is money every time you come on this particular street, there is money. And these criminals know about it. They track the movements. They know what to do. They know how to, monitor customers who come into this place. They know who and who does what with this POS machine and everything. So how do we now see stringent government policies saying, look, in each street there should be probably one POS? Now I'm sounding like someone who doesn't like the progress of many Nigerians. But it's for your own good, okay?
Actually, some people are even of the opinion that there should be
more, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
But now the issues, the criminal activities
there should be more,
are
saying
tending
that,
to outweigh the benefits.
the reason they say so is so that the need for cash payments would be reduced.
Yeah.
When you have more POS stands, okay, you can easily run whatever you want to do as soon as possible. So, but then my concern again, right? You know, we're not only looking at the clients or customers to the agent bankers. The agency bankers themselves, they are also not secured.
Yeah,
they are also not.
But
secured.
let's take more calls. We'll definitely get back to you. 95.1 FM. Hello and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah.
Good evening. I think you need to speak up loudly.
Yeah, you really need to.
Yeah, barely hear you.
Yeah, this is Victor.
All right, Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm actually on opinion of the security side of the bank and the country right now. So, on the other side of the bank, this their pattern. If ATM swallow your card, when you immediately go to them and request your ATM card, they are supposed to immediately give it back to you after some few interviews.
Yes.
Now, these people will ask you for valid ID card, which even if you are not even very closer to your area, anywhere you are, they don't even care, they don't mind. The only thing they will ask you for valid ID card immediately. And they don't even know your present predicament, or if you have money on your pocket for transport, anything, they don't even care. They just say your card was trapped, okay, you have your valid ID card.
Okay.
You don't have to go and get it. Just like that, you know. And the other side again is about Nigeria insecurity. You see, I'm in opinion to say that the Northerners know what is happening to them. The reason is this.
Mr. Victor, you're drifting out of context. We never mentioned anything as regards Northerners now.
Okay, fine. Sorry about it. Now, let me come back to this way.
All right.
If Sheikh Gumi or whatever they call him, Sheikh Gumi, whatever.
All right. We're talking about how we can mitigate the issue of insecurity, not in Nigeria, but for your businesses, people who offer the POS business, okay?
Yeah.
We're not talking about Sheikh Gumi and the rest. We'll definitely talk about them on a later date. But for now, how do you protect yourself? You who offers that service, okay? Giving people, like you said, giving people the service of, you know, the POS operations.
Yeah.
Okay, we have seen numerous cases of robbery incidents and, you know, criminality. How do we protect ourselves? How do we mitigate the issue of insecurity at point of service stands, rather? Hello and good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, I can hear you.
I'm calling from Ahoda.
All right, you're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Godtime.
All right, Mr. Godtime, go ahead.
Okay, there's something I want to talk about. Just last month, I went to bank to open account.
Yes.
After I collected my ATM,
Yes.
Someone called me, he's the bank manager, that now that I have successfully activated my account, that I still have a little problem in my BVN. The last 4-digit number in my ATM card. I was confused. I still went to the bank and tell them that, look, a social person called me, they say it's 419.
Okay.
So where the thing is confusing is that, how did they know that?
You just activated your ATM card.
Yes.
Are we looking at moles? Thank you very much. Are we looking at moles in the banking industry? Are we thinking about? Are you possibly seeing chances that there are moles? You know, criminal elements in the banking industry.
Secret
agents working for the kingdom of darkness. Hello and welcome. Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Son.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, as I was saying before, bro, there is no way we can correct all these things without thinking about the system of government. Because even if somebody dupes you and the person have money more than you cannot take that person to court. So there is a problem in our country, and the problem is our law.
Okay.
So even in the hospital, have you gone to hospital? They treat people. They are even like earlier this year, I take my younger brother who was sick to the hospital. My brother nearly died before my very eye. The nurse was like, I should shut up. Even if my brother died, is he the only one that has been dying here? Just like that.
Wow.
I was like, why is it that every system in this our country is very, very bad? People are afraid. So all this POS and no POS, when the bank are not doing well, that is why you see people running to just make transactions where could be very easy for them. Because if you think about the transport that will take you to bank, then you go there coming back with anger. Because they will provoke you before you come back.
Okay, so let me ask you a particular question. Would you rather risk your life in going to withdraw money? I'm not saying I don't do it, okay? So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite right now. I use the point of sales, platforms most of the times. But would we keep risking our lives because you don't know who is standing behind you, who is a criminal, who has a gun, or who wants to kill you to take your money? Do we keep doing these things, or do we now need policies to regulate how the shops are being run? Probably located at particular instances where there are security operatives there.
Bro, how to answer you this question, right? Because is that anything you are doing now, just know that it's for you will stand for yourself. You are, when you go come back, you thank God. When you go, you not come back, you thank God. Because even right there in your front, even if they are doing it in the front of police, they will not do anything.
Okay.
Even if there's a policeman there, while they are robbing you, he will not do anything. I'm telling you honestly, because I have been a witness.
Yes.
Right? While I was going to the armed robber come out from the bush. They were robbing us in front of the police station, in front of police checking point.
Wow. And the police were there.
They were not doing anything. Nothing to be done. If you ask them, they will tell you, are they not human beings? Can them be shot? So that is the problem we are having in this country. The people securing us, they are not doing their work. Every system is bad. Have you gone to court that a matter that's they're supposed to judge one day will be taking like 2 years to just end it? You got tired of going to court. Very, very bad. I don't know. Everything is very bad.
Thank you very much.
This thing he said just reminded me of something that happened some time ago, close to where I was staying. We had a police checkpoint at the roundabouts, close to where there was a POS stand. And that evening, say around 4 or 5, they usually shut down around 6. These POS guys, they usually shut down around 6. So around 4 or 5, I was actually just passing by on a tricycle, and then I saw that people were gathered at that particular spot. Yes. And then I began to hear stories like, man, they just robbed that guy.
Are you serious?
And they even shot him.
Wow.
And there was a police checkpoint.
You can imagine that. 95.1 FM. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, I called back. Victor.
Mr. Victor, you were mentioning some particular things that we didn't want to talk about, so I had to let you go.
It's true. I'm sorry about it.
All right.
I'm saying of these bankers again, because these people, they have some agents that normally stay by the front of the bank. I'm suspecting that some bankers they have agents over their front of their bank, because I've been in a situation more than 2 persons have complained that after withdrawing social amount of money, I just came out from the bank and just took a card immediately. They drove to a particular place and they pointed and gone and they bring that amount. They just call.
They mentioned the exact amount you withdrew.
Exactly. And then collect the money. Separately. So the thing is, I'll keep telling them, my brother, you should go back to that bank, because those people, the person that gave you the money knows
What?
the person.
Okay.
Yes, because nobody, apart from the people, the person that gave you the money, who else knows the amount of money you take? So, the other side again, they still also have agents that normally call you on your phone before you receive a lot and call your account number, account name, account everything, your BVN. They will mention everything, and that they have been doing it to me. There is one code that takes only 5 minutes or 15 minutes that they will use it as soon as you disclose the number to them. Now they will use it to telephone you.
Okay.
That very code lasted for 15 or 30 minutes. So they will be by forcing you that you just have only 5 minutes now for you to call, just call this number and receive this amount of money from your bank. Because the way they will call everything to you, you will know that this person knows everything about your account detail. The only thing that is holding them not to defraud you is just your this thing.
All right. Your PIN. Okay.
Your PIN. And then they have this other code that if you mention that code to them, they will use it to defraud you.
All right.
So you have this sector in this country. That's why sometimes the Bible was calling the country a zoo country. Everything is people. They have to visit this country, even if it takes to visit to 100 places. Let everybody go by their local government.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You got your thoughts. Now, this is becoming one too many. Okay. Now, when you started bringing up the story about someone calling you and giving you your particular bank name, giving you your particular bank identity, whatever things that you feel like, oh, these things are really, really, really big secrets between you and your bank. This person is mentioning everything for you. You tend to wonder if this person isn't getting the information from the bank, or someone from the bank is outsourcing this information to another person.
You know, while that could be possible, let's not also rule out scammers and hackers
who are being professional in their duties.
Man, I got robbed and oh, Father Lord. Okay, I didn't have an ATM actually. I wasn't using an ATM card.
Yeah.
What I was doing was mobile banking.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the need for an ATM card. All right. I'll just go to the POS if need be, if I wanted to withdraw. And then that was basically what I was doing, mobile transfer and all of that. And so I got robbed. They stole my phone. And so I didn't go to the bank. I was at rest because I knew I didn't have my ATM. They took my bag and all my valuables I had.
Everything.
Yes. But unfortunately, when I went for a new ATM, sweet Lord,
everything was wiped off.
Everything was wiped out. Like, I had nothing left in my account. And I'm like, Christ, what just happened here? Little did I know that they were using my phone number.
Okay, that's another thing.
That's another thing.
So we just generally need to be careful. But let's hear your thoughts. 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Hello, anybody home? All right, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I can hear you. This is London man calling from Port Harcourt.
London man. All the way from London in Port Harcourt.
I'm telling you.
Glory, how are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, so, see, my dear sister and my dear brother, the issue of ATM robbery or robbers, I think I cannot emphasize. For me, I think there can be, all the banking, whatever we've been talking about, there cannot be fire there cannot be smoke without fire, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I want to say because from what I've so far and what I've read so far, even what I've realized, there are some more in the bank.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
So yes, there are invisible, I have an invisible hand in the bank or something like that. Because
they have those persons working in the bank. I'm not perfect. They are human being like you and I. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't know. And they have friends, even though they don't do that in direct way. They don't do. They are not the one. They have friends whom they can even disclose all those identity to. And you should know that your even your BVN number, whatever your name, any bank you are banking with, those bankers, they have them. They can
easily manipulate. Yes.
Yeah.
Manipulate through all these stuff. But what I want to suggest on the issue of POS, because you can see that it's always everywhere now. Even, every step, every bus step or what have you, you see POS. I want to suggest that the people doing running POS, there should be strategic place for them.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The strategic place for them, and the strategic places they are running the POS should be where people are seen, where people are seen, that there are crowds.
Okay.
But because some areas I've observed that where they have POS, it's lonely at times. Before you step, at times you pass there, seeing where they are running POS, you might not even see anybody there.
Right.
And people are around there, and they will be surprised hearing that the POS test there has been robbed and what have you. So long as our security architecture remains like this, the main product like this, I don't think the issue of robbery, whatever, stealing all those things will be reduced to the barest minimum, because it's inescapable.
Right.
But yes, but if they must run POS, I want to suggest that it should be in a place people are, and in a strategic place. It's not something you do here and there before it becomes the people doing it will be in danger, because it's a very big problem.
All right.
Okay, so that means you're saying there should be
Thank you very much, by the way.
Thank you very much. There should be some government policies and regulations, because you can't just get up one morning and decide to cite your business at any location.
Yeah, very true, especially when it comes to monetary dealings.
Exactly. And when we have sanitation,
Don't worry, we talked about sanitation one of those days.
no, what I'm trying to say is you can't actually just get up one morning by yourself to start your business at any location.
Yeah.
There has to be some backing.
Like government.
Yes, government backing. So you can actually have a location, a secured location for your business where no one is going to come trouble you there. Who gave you this space? Move away, or you come the next
and
day
then
and you can't find you.
Particular businesses, not just any business.
Of course.
Just as you don't have certain businesses, certain premium businesses operating in certain environments.
Yeah.
We should start having policies where we see particular businesses. If there is a need for a POS center or a POS point, it should be in this kind of location.
Yes.
With this kind of policy guiding the operation. It must be located where people are. Must be located close to human environment and everything like that. And come to think about it, the name itself, point of sales, that brings up the first conversation we had where you said the POS machine itself is meant for retail purposes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I come to your shop, I want to buy something, I don't need to pay with cash, I pay through
the ATM.
My debit card.
Yeah.
And then it credits your account. And then you give me my card. Okay?
Yeah.
But this is madam, you will pay and then still collect the change. Why do we always go round and round in circles?
Actually, via the later research I made, those POS were actually disposed so as to ease the traffic, human traffic in the banks and ATMs, and also help banks not to start opening
too many
branches of ATMs in locations where they don't.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just have the POS in those locations, and it helps people transact easier and all of that. So that's the reason for this. But now it's becoming a menace in society.
I don't know how we're going to deal with it. 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Pastor George.
Pastor George, you're welcome.
Pastor George, good evening. I'm from Okrika.
All right, from Mokrika, you're welcome. Good evening.
Can barely hear you though.
I want to ask this, Gloria.
Okay.
Your experience you had with the POS, did you let her get back your money?
No, I didn't. I just let it slide because it wasn't actually a big sum of money.
Okay. Last week, somebody called me that they are calling me from my bank, that they are sending me a text. Within 5 minutes, I should copy the code and let them know.
Oh.
They called me, and the numbers they send are different numbers, different code numbers, and they'll be duplicate. They call my date of death. They call everything they call was correct. So what delivered me was to call the bank through phone, and they told me it's a fraudster. So how are they getting all this information? Your date of death, every damn thing they are correct. How are they getting it? Is it that there are Judas in the bank? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's quickly do some text messages here.
Okay, let's see what we have here. Hi, well done. These POS shops have really reduced the burden of the banks. Quite easy access. Moreover, they have created job opportunities too. I hereby urge the government to raise the standard for the shops, enforcing possibility for guarantee of services and security guards, just as in banks. These can even minimize the increase in the number of people in the business.
Okay.
And raise the standard of services. Thanks, JFED.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay,
Jaffet.
thank you very much. Okay. All right, let's see what we have. Good evening to you all. Okay, no.
All right, let me go through that. All right.
Yeah. I think you should handle that.
This one says, okay, greetings to you this evening. In all of this malfeasances in the agency banking, are commercial banks who franchise the POS machine sacrosanct? A situation where a POS operator will have the effrontery to refer you to your bank to sort out issues of inconclusive transactions, vice versa, is unacceptable. For instance, the lady in the studio just narrated her own ordeal and the franchising bank. Your bank and the POS operator are nowhere in the fray. I can't still wrap my head around being flinched glaringly and no one is held accountable. Friday, Olu from Choba. I practically think we should have dictionaries, reading text messages like this. But I think what he was trying to say is there are synonymous relationships between the banks and, the point of sales agents, okay? Now, if there's something wrong and the point of sales agent can't relate it to you that this bank was the reason for you being debited and not, or you coming to do business and then you had issues and it didn't work out, the bank and the POS staff should be held accountable for it.
Really? Was that what he was trying to say?
That's what he's trying to say. Like, he can't just imagine not having a conclusion. The POS agent is telling you, look, madam, I don't know, it's the bank. The bank is telling you, look, we don't know who is the POS agent.
I think he's trying to say he shouldn't, it is wrong for him to send you to your bank. Because what he did, his transaction had nothing to do with your bank.
All right.
That's what he was trying to say there. So the POS person should be held responsible. He should be accountable for what he has done.
All right.
And if he's so confident that it's the bank, then he should be the one to go to the bank.
All right. That is where, I'm sorry, I'm seeing the calls coming in, but this is where we draw the curtains. That's how time flies, Funny how time flies.
Very funny.
Okay, so this is where we draw the curtains on the show for tonight. But tomorrow, do not worry, we'll get to be here again, same time, 9 p.m.
Yep.
I, Dave, Roberts, and Gloria. I'll be here to dissect certain issues and allow you give your opinions and weigh in on those particular issues. Okay, do all to follow me on socials. For me, my handle on Instagram, it's Dave_Melford_Roberts. On Twitter, it's David_Melford, and Facebook, it's David Melford Roberts. And Gloria?
Okay, on Facebook, it is Gloria Carty. I mean, the Carty is spelled Kartee. On Instagram, same thing. On Twitter, same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Have yourself a very wonderful evening. The world news coming up shortly.
.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Live from the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. This is Today 95.1 FM.
It's hot, spanking new.
On Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today. 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. This is the World News on your premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. I am Dave Roberts. In the headlines, Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and Governor Nyesom Wike clash over planned construction of Port Harcourt to Maiduguri rail line and Bonny Seaport. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami denies knowledge on whether EFCC is investigating APC chieftain Bola Tinubu. Appeal court strikes out appeal by 22 local government council chairmen against Rivers State Government, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, and 2 others. And on the foreign scene, passerby shot dead after South African police moved to disperse students protesting. Now, the details. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says River State Governor Nyesom Wike did not speak based on facts when he condemned the planned construction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri rail line and the Bonny Seaport. Amechi said this in a reaction to the governor's comment that the planned multi-billion naira project is a bait to deceive Rivers people ahead of the 2023 general elections.
I am taught before I became a governor that governors don't speak carelessly. I am taught before I became a governor that governors speak with facts and figures. That when you make a statement, millions of Nigerians depend on that statement. I am not garrulous in that nature. I speak intelligently, knowing that when I speak, it matters. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't speak out of my sense. Election is coming 2023. This is 2021. You have 2 years. Go back to all my statements as a governor. I don't just get up And I've not even gotten up and say, oh, one small boy is criticizing me as a governor. He's from so and so village. Damn you! A governor is so, do you think I don't see what people talk about me? I also exert much more influence. I am one man who has been in public office for too long that sometimes my wife thinks I should retire. I've been speaker for 8 years. I've been governor for 8 years. I'm now minister for 6 years. You may wish to know. I was special assistant for 2 years to Governor Rufus Sada George. I've been in public office and I know the importance of making a statement.
Meanwhile, River State Governor Nyesom Wike has insisted that the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge rail line is not good enough for River State and the connecting states. Governor Wike said this while commissioning the Umwechi Omokri Alu Road in the Ikwerre local government area of the state. He said the plan by the federal government to complete the project in 36 months is unrealistic.
I heard people came to River State to flag off narrow gauge. When the world is talking about standard gauge, what I give River State narrow gauge? Because I challenge them. Show us what you've done for the people of the state. So what they will do to come and say, okay, since you are complaining, let's come and give you back that narrow gauge. Instead of giving us the standard gauge to Maiduguri. And they're making us about it. River State, the treasury base of the nation, the state that they use their money to produce their president. Towards the end of the administration, what they come and tell us to have a narrow gauge. I was watching Kakaki and I heard somebody, they said is a minister, was talking and he said he does not drink. Who told you to drink? Let the world see it. You want to finish the narrow gauge in 36 months. Will you be in power then? Will you still be in power at 36? I am going to finish every project I have awarded.
Former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Austin Okpara, who commissioned the project, said Governor Wike has been resourceful with state funds. Former students and family members of unpaid primary and secondary school teachers and River State-owned tertiary institutions have staged a peaceful protest over their 5 years unpaid salaries. The protesters, who were seen with placards, marched to the State Assembly and Government House, Port Harcourt, to register their anger. The chairman, River State Civil Society Organizations, Nefa Georgeville, who led the protesters, spoke on their behalf, calling on the State House of Assembly and the government to pay them their 5 years' salary. Meanwhile, receiving the protesters at the State House of Assembly gate, the clerk of the House, Stanford Oba, promised to deliver the letter and the court judgment of the protesters to the leadership of the House. In the same vein, the organized labor in River State has staged a protest at the River State House of Assembly against the moves by the National Assembly to remove minimum wage from the exclusive legislative list. The protest commenced at the State Secretariat at the NLC at D-Line and ended at the gate of the River State Assembly at Moscow Road in Port Harcourt. Chairman of the NLC in River State, Beatrice Itubo, who led the protest, appealed to the leadership of the State House of Assembly not to assent to the bill if it ever gets to the House. Itubo also noted that if the bill is allowed to sail through, it will drag the nation back to the era of late wages.
We appeal to your good judgment to take account of the gravity of the malpractice afoot by some progressive elements in the House of Representatives. Intervene to guide the members of the State House of Assembly aright in case this bill comes before you. If this anti-labor bill that seeks to hamstring the nation in her efforts to reduce poverty and inequality is presented to your State House of Assembly, we appeal to your Excellency kindly refuse assent. Organized labor not willing to sleep on its right have perfected plans to organize nationwide protests in all the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The protest will commence from Wednesday, 10th March 2021 and will be staying at it and drive home our point that in the retaining of the national minimum wage in the explosive legislative list is a fight for our survival and livelihood of millions of Nigerian workers.
Our correspondent Chinedu Iwona reports that the clerk of the River State House of Assembly, Stanford Oba, received the protest letter on behalf of the House. The Nigeria Labour Congress at the federal level also staged a nationwide protest over the implementation of a minimum wage for Nigerian workers. It is now 2 weeks and a day since the kidnap of two prominent individuals from Andoni local government area of River State. It's also the same number of weeks since a 12-passenger boat was hijacked along the Bonny waterways by unknown gunmen. Unfortunately, the whereabouts of the kidnapped victims in Andoni and the victims of the hijacked boat are yet unknown 2 weeks after the incident. When contracted spokesman of the River State Police Command, Nnamdi Omoni, when asked what the police is doing to secure the release of the victims, said the command is working assiduously to ensure the victims are rescued. It will interest you to know that the kidnap of the traditional ruler of Ikuru in Andoni, King Aaron Ikuru, happened at his residence in Ikuru town in Andolo local government area. That of the lecturer of University of Port Harcourt, Dr. Jones Ayawu, happened in Kana local government area, while the 12-passenger boat was hijacked on the Bonny waterway. Meanwhile, one Chief Vincent Nnamdi Otto has been sentenced to 1 month imprisonment for what the court described as contemptuous action and threat. Chief Nnamdi Otto, while responding to cross-examination from the witness box on a disputed land suit, shouted at the presiding judge, requesting to know his interest in the matter. Our correspondent reports that Chief Nnamdi Otto further walked out of the witness box, hit his palm on the floor of the court, and threatened to deal with everyone and to petition the judge to President Muhammadu Buhari. The presiding judge, Justice Adolphus Enebili, after watching the drama, ordered that Chief Nnamdi Otto be put back in the box and should show cause why he should not be committed to prison for contempt. Justice Enebili, after hearing from all the counsels present in court who condemned the attitude of the chief, ordered that Chief Otto be remanded at the correctional center for a month. The court adjourned till 17th of May 2021 for continuation of cross-examination. The appeal court sitting in Port Harcourt has struck out the appeal by 22 embattled local government council chairmen against the River State government, the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, and 2 others. The 3-man panel of the appeal, led by Justice Tani Yusuf Hassan, and in a unanimous judgment struck out the appeal after it noticed that there was no notice of appeal in their records. Correspondent Uchendu Ejowo reports that Justice Yusuf Hassan, who read out the judgment, said there was no need to go into merits of the matter since there is no record of notice of appeal, and thereby struck it out. Speaking to newsmen outside the court, counsel to River State government and RISEC, Ichenisa Etiaba, senior advocate of Nigeria, welcomed the judgment and advised the applicants to go to and participate in the next council election.
The Court of Appeal rightfully found in our favor today there was no proper notice of appeal before this court. That means the jurisdiction of the court was never activated. And it was based on our preliminary objection that the court ruled that they have failed, and they failed to file notice of appeal before this court. The court rightfully struck out the appeal. That's all. That was the end of the road for them. Appeal because the appellants claimed that they won an election, the local government election in 2015. And before the election, there was an order of court not to conduct that election, but they conducted. They so after the Federal High Court nullified the election.
On his part, one of the councils to the sacked 22 local government chairmen, Mike Wardy, expressed shock over the judgment of the appeal court.
From the ruling, I think the court said that they didn't even discover our not filing a notice of appeal, that no was found in our file. They've gone through the course record that we did not file our notice of appeal. And there's no way we can file an appeal without filing a notice of appeal. it's surprising to us for the court to state that they didn't see our notice of appeal in the file. So all we need to do is to go back home because the matter was struck and not dismissed. And if there are notice of appeal in our records, come back and release the matter, and that is all. It was not decided on the merit. It was just struck out, but you can never come back at any time to re-enlist.
The 22 local government chairmen who were elected under the administration of former Governor Rotimi Amechi in 2015 but were sacked by Governor Nyesom Wike are asking the court to reinstate them or be paid for 3 years tenure because they were wrongfully removed from office. As the April 17th local government council election in River State draws near, it is the expectation of indigents of the various communities that the incoming council chairmen and councillors will perform better than the outgoing leaders in execution of projects and organizing programs that have direct impact on the lives of the people. Their expectation follows the conclusion of screening of the chairmanship and councillorship candidates of the various participating political parties by Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC. Speaking after being screened, one of the PDP candidates in Ogba, Egbima, and Ndoni local government area, Vincent Job, assured for youth empowerment, especially on programs that will secure the future of the youth, just as he called for improved security, which will include training and retraining of OSPEC members.
My first priority will be on security, pastoral development, and education. We are satisfied with the operations of OSPAC, but in as much as that, we also partner with the regular security. But they have to have some training and retraining from the regular security officers so that when they form signage, the work will go. The message for NEGA people is that it's a collective responsibility for all of us, you and I. There is a robust program for the youth. They are the leaders of tomorrow. So there's no way we can do away with the youth. So they will take center stage of all the activities that are involved in Obebe. So the project is building the youth so that they will become personnel.
On his part, Chidi Lloyd said the operations of OSPAC will be regulated, especially in Emaha local government area of the state.
So we have a lot to do there, considering the fact that we will dwell mostly on security to ensure that the local government, which hitherto used to be a very volatile local government, will enjoy lasting peace. So we intend to work with all stakeholders in this regard to ensure that the LGA is peaceful, because it's only when it is peaceful that you talk about development. We will not do anything that is not backed by law. So we will look for a way around it. The would-be lawmakers are also hearing. So we would approach them with a bill to ensuring that the activities are regulated so that they do not act or traverse their powers.
You are listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is still the World News on your premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM. The time is 16 minutes gone past the hour of 10. The House of Representatives has asked the federal government to transfer the $4.2 million repatriated from the United Kingdom to the Delta State government. The House reached the resolution after debate on a motion sponsored by 9 members of the House from Delta State, led by Minority Leader Undudi Elumelo. The House asked the federal government through the Ministry of Finance to immediately stop the disbursement of the money recovered from the Delta State Governor, James Aburi. The House of Rep also requested for Federal Ministry of Finance and Attorney General of the Federation to furnish it with all particulars relating to the recovered money. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has said his office is not investigating the national leader of the All Progressives Congress chieftain, Bola Tinubu. Malami, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, while speaking with the media in Abuja, said he could not say if the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission or the Code of Conduct Bureau were investigating Tinubu, since the two agencies had statutory powers to commence probes and prosecute people.
The Office of the Attorney General, as you rightly know, has not taken any decision, has not filed or instituted any action before any court in the land relating to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But then, within the context of the law, as you rightly know, the EFCC, the Court of Conduct, are all statutory bodies that are vested with statutory powers to act within the context of the law establishing them. But the Office of the Attorney General and its arm, which is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, has not initiated any proceedings, and no investigation has been instituted at its instance by any agency of the government, be it EFCC or indeed the Code of Conduct.
The EFCC had in November 2020 written a letter to the CCB requesting copies of Tinubu's asset declaration form. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdul Rashid Bawa, has testified before Anikeja High Court in Lagos to give evidence in a 1.4 billion naira fraud trial. The fraud trial involved an oil company, Nadabo Energy, which Bawa had earlier testified against before his appointment as the EFCC boss. Bawa, who is the fifth prosecution witness, had told Justice C.A. Balogun that the defendant used forged documents to benefit from the federal government subsidy regime. Abubakar Peters, alongside his company Nadabo Energy Limited, were arraigned on December 10th, 2012 before Justice L. Balogun of the Lagos State High Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos, for offences bordering on obtaining money by false pretenses, forgery, and altering forged documents to the tune of 1.4 billion naira. They were alleged to have obtained the money from the federal government by falsely claiming that it represented the subsidy accruing to them. Optometrists have said that research has proven that black people are more prone and predisposed to glaucoma. Speaking with our correspondent Ifunaya Obeme Ndukwe on the commemoration of the World Glaucoma Week, the chairman of the Nigerian Optometric Association of Nigeria in River State, Dr. Chineye Iwaniri, said glaucoma is the second leading cause of irreversible blindness in the world.
Glaucoma is the second leading cause of irreversible blindness worldwide. Any vision that you lose through glaucoma cannot be restored again. So that's why we're here to talk about early detection. So glaucoma just takes your vision without knowing. It's actually called the silent thief of sight because it comes without warning. You are black. There are studies that have been done to show that there's a genetic factor also attached to that, meaning that the blacks have less of the protective gene for glaucoma. More research is still being done on that. But just know that because you're black, you're very prone to have glaucoma. Increasing age is another thing. As long as you're up to 40, you should have regular eye checks for glaucoma. Children also come up with glaucoma. And that's why in the Nigerian Optometric Association, we advocate that children must have their eye test. In fact, worldwide, the first eye test should be at 6 weeks, 6 months, 2.5 years, and then yearly thereafter.
On her part, the committee chairman of the World Glaucoma Week in River State, Dr. Yvonne Mibili, said glaucoma is hereditary and comes with risk factors including race, age, and other sicknesses, adding that there is no lifestyle that exposes one to glaucoma.
Like if you have somebody in your family that has glaucoma, let's say the father has glaucoma, there's a tendency that the children are likely to get glaucoma. It's hereditary, so it's advisable that the children get checked. Like you have some drugs that could induce glaucoma, so you're advised to stay off such drugs except under doctor's prescription, because there's certain things we look out for before we prescribe those drugs, like steroids. If you're on them for a very long time, you could come down with glaucoma. Recently, there are researches showing that people that are hypertensive and diabetic are predisposed to having glaucoma. But particularly, there is no lifestyle.
Glaucoma Week is set aside on March of every year to create awareness about glaucoma for early detection. March 7th to 13th has been set aside to mark this year's edition of the week themed "The World is Bright, Save Your Sight." On the foreign scene, a passerby was shot dead after South African police moved to disperse students protesting against refusal by a top Johannesburg-based university to register those in arrears with tuition fees. Clashes erupted when police used rubber bullets to break up a group of students who were blocking roads with rubble and disrupting traffic in downtown Johannesburg about the Wits campus prison. Students began sporadic protests in early January over alleged exclusion of some students by a government-sponsored tuition aid scheme. They are demanding that Wits University allows all students with outstanding debt to register for the 2021 academic year. Many students have fallen into arrears because of the economic hardships caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In sports, a football expert, Mba Agwakolu, has called for proper health care for football players in Nigeria. Mba Agwakolu, who is a former player of Ayimba International Football Club, said football players are not 100% medically tested before going into a game. He noted that it is the duty of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, to ensure that football players undergo medical tests, but that due to the poor state of health facilities in Nigeria, some players do not go for the complete medical test required. The ex-Ayimba player noted that some players have died on the field because they are unaware of existing health issues, just as he called on football players to put their health first and ensure that they are medically tested and they are fit before going into their games.
In every professional league, not only in Nigeria, Europe, worldwide, before you come to a club, you must be fully confirmed that your health status, you are fit, before you will be signed to the club. They are due to poverty level, the anxious of making money from the only means you can. Some players really don't go for that complete medical test. They just go for fitness test and the rest. So at times they might not know they have such health issues, like heart problems. Sometimes you see them collapse in the field and all this stuff. Before you know it, they say a member of the team is chasing them, or according to the Nigerian word, they say they've charged them, but what I'm saying generally is that our players are not 100% tested, fitness tests, and before they go into the game. So when you have these health challenges, your coaches, the management might not know this is what you have, but
this report follows recent cases of death of footballers while on the game. Still in sports, Brazil's world-famous Macarena Stadium is to be renamed after football legend Pelé. Rio de Janeiro legislature voted to change the official title to the Edson Arantes do Nascimento, right? That is in King Pelé Stadium. 80-year-old Pelé played at the venue many times before and for Brazil and scored his 1,000th goal there in 1969 for Santos against local club Vasco da Gama. The stadium, which hosted the final match in 1950 and 2014 World Cup tournaments, as well as the opening ceremony for the 2016 Olympics, has long been named after Mario Filho, a journalist who lobbied for its construction in the 1940s. The legislature said the football stadium will be renamed, but the larger sports complex around the ground will retain its current name. To end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and Governor Nyesom Wike have clashed over the planned construction of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line and Bonny Seaport. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has denied knowledge on whether EFCC is investigating APC chieftain Bola Tinubu. The appeal court season in Port Harcourt has struck out an appeal by 22 local government council chairmen against the River State Government, River State Independent Electoral Commissions, and 2 others. And on the foreign scene, we also told you that a passerby was shot dead after South African police moved to disperse students protesting. That was the news as edited by Victor Eziama. For comments and inquiries, please call 0818 389 2850 or send your emails to Today95.1fm. That is news at Today951live.fm.com. Or you can read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. I am Dave Roberts. Good evening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
You don't have to be in government to serve. You don't have to hold a political office to change lives. It was Mahatma Gandhi that said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So before you point out how the government has failed in service, ask yourself, are you being of service to your fellow Nigerian in your own little corner? As Mother Teresa puts it, unless life is lived serving others, it is not worth living at all. This message is powered by Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.